I'm Pat Mayo. There's a quick fantasy football update for October 8th. It's a Tuesday morning, and the Chiefs are winners from Monday Night Football 26-13 over the New Orleans Saints. They win, they cover, but they are expected to now be without Rashee Rice for the remainder of the season. So the wide receiver rotation that we saw on Monday night could be static going forward, unless they go and trade for a receiver. What we saw was a lot of Justin Watson, Xavier Worthy, and Juju Smith-Schuster. Juju was the big beneficiary of Patrick Mahomes being excellent in New Orleans defense, lacking people in the middle of the field, let's say, with Juju, but he is now the number 2 pickup of the week. The updated wide receiver pickup rankings are down in the description and on the Mayo Media Substack. Right now, he is still behind Quentin Johnston, but one spot ahead of Darnell Mooney. Watson played the most snaps of everyone, but since I had him as an over of 25.5 receiving yards in my underdog entry from yesterday's show, of course he saw 0 targets, despite running the most routes and playing the most snaps of any Chiefs wide receiver. That ain't good. So his target percentage is exceptionally low in this circumstance. In the backfield, it was all Kareem Hunt. He is the only Kansas City Chiefs running back that you want. If he was to get hurt, even with Clyde Edwards-Helaire probably returning after the Week 6 bye for the Chiefs, we don't know who it's going to be. They'll just rotate. None of them are going to have a ton of value. Even P. Ryan at this point is only playing receiving downs. When Jarek had this role last year and 2 years ago, he was at least getting goal line touches. P. Ryan's not even on the field for those. Jarek was playing over 50% of the snaps inside the 5-yard line for the Chiefs. P. Ryan is playing under 15%. Drop him. Get him out of here. Get him off your team. Derek Carr got hurt for the Saints on the other side. It's an oblique injury on his left side. I wouldn't expect him to play in week number 6, which is not good because Jake Haener is the backup. Not great news for Shaheed, not great news for Olave. Maybe Taysom Hill ends up coming back and playing quarterback, but he missed the game with a ribs injury as well. Mason Tipton ran ahead of Cedric Wilson as the wide receiver 3 on the Saints. Irrelevant now that Derek Carr is probably not going to play. He was pretty irrelevant with Derek Carr, as it turns out, but A.T. Perry was cut, so Tipton is playing ahead of Cedric Wilson. They're about splitting, but we saw more Tipton on Monday Night Football than we saw of Cedric Wilson. Wide receivers, you have Nico Collins. He went from day to day to week. Shocker. Everyone who hurts their hamstring misses at least 2 weeks, probably 3. Nico Collins, do not expect to play him in your fantasy lineups in week number 6 against the Patriots. And it's looking more and more like you might not be able to play Joe Mixon again, as D'Amico Ryan says his availability against the Patriots in week 6 is still trying to figure that out. Doesn't sound good. Maybe Dameon Pierce will be back with the hamstring injury. If Pierce is back, he's going to play over Cam Akers. Whether Dare plays ahead of them, this I do not know. We'll see more as the practice reports happen throughout the week. Eventually, Mixon's going to come back, but it might not be this week. Maybe they feel like they don't need him against the Patriots. Rashee Rice, as mentioned, is likely out for the season. Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown and Lane Johnson are all expected to be back for the Eagles in week number 6. Great news for everyone on this offense, as they might be able to sustain some drives this time around. And bad news, Aaron Jones is going for an MRI on his hip. They say it could be worse than originally expected. I originally had Ty Chandler down in the running back pickup rankings this week because the Vikings go on bye in week number 6, and then Aaron Jones was just expected to be back. If that's no longer the case, I've moved up Ty Chandler to number 3 in terms of pickups this week, in case Jones is out for longer than expected. If he's not, you really don't care about Ty Chandler. Tyrone Tracy and Tank Bigsby remain number 1 and 2 in the week 6 waiver wire pickup rankings, though. Again, down in the description right now. Sub to the channel while you're here. We're trying to get to 50,000 subs, and smash the like. Code Mayo at Underdog. Always got to throw that in. Use code Mayo at Underdog. Get yourself that deposit bonus of up to $1,000. Devon Achane is in concussion protocol. Fortunately for him, Miami is on bye, so he should be okay for week number 7, but it's his first concussion. And as we just saw with Malik Neighbors, sometimes your first concussion can take a little bit longer than if you're just a veteran of having concussions. David Njoku injured his knee again in week number 5. He's going to go have an MRI. Jordan Akins was averaging 30 yards per game while Njoku was out. That's like Colby Parkinson range of, guy, if you really need 5 fantasy points, here comes Jordan Akins. You don't want that guy. Evan Engram is expected to be back for week number 6, according to Doug Peterson. But I heard that last week and it didn't happen. So again, another guy with a hamstring who was going to miss 1 week ended up missing 4 because of it. So Nico Collins probably not going to play in week number 6. Some quick notes. Drake Maye could be the starter this week against Houston for New England. Travis Etienne Jr. got popped in the shoulder, according to Doug Peterson. That is why we saw so much Tank Bigsby, according to Doug Peterson. But it just might be a split. Either way, it does seem like the shoulder injury is a real problem for Etienne right now. So Tank Bigsby, again, is a priority target this week, at least to have on your bench in case Etienne ends up missing time, because then you'd get 80% Tank Bigsby. Romeo Doubs has returned to practice and will likely play for Green Bay in week number 6. And Zay Jones is returning from the PED list, brother, for the Arizona Cardinals. Maybe he ends up usurping Michael Wilson as the wide receiver 2 on that team. But as we know with the Cardinals, it's Trey McBride, it's Marvin Harrison, and others. Zay Jones does not fall into the first category. He falls into the others category. That will do it for me for Tuesday. I'll be back Wednesday with the wide receiver and all position rankings. By position, you can find those in the Substack. That will get emailed directly to you once they are finished, so go sub to that for free right now. And then Wednesday and Friday, be back with these quick updates. All right, I'm Pat Mayo. Thanks for watching. See you Thursday.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!